Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong, I'm going to go ahead and reap the rewards of my karma. I meant to not to do this, but it looks like I'm going to be ending a set on a mission rather than on maintenance. So I'll be going, the next time I start up, it will probably be right back into doing between mission chatting. Okay, no, I don't want to load game. Uh, ooh, ooh. 8 karma. Okay. So, well, actually, this is the start of things. So we're going to be doing some between mission chatting already. Let's go get paid. Actually, let's do this first. Spin karma. We are going to go to this, which means next we'll be getting this. What's this? Okay. Quickness. Nope. We want strength. 4. Nope. Not enough. Okay. So charisma, don't really need anything. Strength. Look at it. Quickness. I could add some. That'd be interesting. Range combat going up. Let's do the dodge go up. Or we could save and wait a little bit. Because, yeah, and stay focused. Though, getting her some ability with range combat would not be a terrible thing. She's really weak right now, but pistol can get very useful. Well, I'll stay focused on the strength and what is willpower? Willpower gives me resistance to magic, which would be useful actually. I could get 1 and 2 decking, useful for a little bit of stuff. But I think I'll stay with what I got. Okay. Oh, and look, it's time to. You enter the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isabel has her head buried in her PDA. The rest of them stand watching her, trying to be patient. Isabel, you look like you have something to tell the class? Dwarf paces up back, trying to decide how to begin. I've been doing my homework on Josephine Sang and Sang Mechanical Services. You're pacing, so that tells me you found something. Oh yeah, I found something, all right. Isabel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Mechanical Services was a D-level corp, floundering in the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Shui married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS into the big time, something she called the Prosperity Project. Hello. Prosperity? That's what Raymond was mumbling about. What is the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was densely populated slum, something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait, I've heard this story before. It's a shithole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city. The second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through to the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter in large, well-armed groups. Sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Sang proposed a vision for a new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project. A self-contained, low-cost, I need to do the proper voice. A self-contained, low-cost, walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place they could call their own, something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity where prosperity begins." The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Sang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead, and eventually brought Josephine Sang onto the executive council. One slum made her rich? It's a very big slum. Apparently this was also the beginnings of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. Where does Raymond come into all this? Raymond Black doesn't come into it at all, but Edward Sang does. Josephine's husband or son? Son. Raymond Black was actually Edward Sang, the only son of Josephine Sang and her late husband, Breakwater Sang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city, excavation and utilities, running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. So our secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us. It looks that way, yeah. Actor chuckles softly to himself. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive gray water leak that flooded the basement back in '48? When we got back from the camping trip in the Salish? Ray screamed bloody murder about that. Yeah, remember what happened to Mrs. Maloney? You mean her feet? Wu winces and let out a grunt of disgust. They swelled to like 3 times the normal size. Yeah, thanks for bringing back that memory. Think about it. Did Raymond have any idea how to fix it? No. Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid him double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and it still took almost 2 months to get the leak under control. And Josephine put him in charge of the utilities. No wonder the walled city smells like that. I don't think Raymond had anything to do with the utilities in the walled city. So if this man was not in charge of the utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? I don't know, but Edward Sang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. That's about the time he moved to Seattle, around 7 years before he found us. But what happened to the walled city? And what would make Raymond want to go back there now after all these years? I don't know, but I intend to find out. Okay, everybody's more karma. Hello, more karma. You're going to be spent right now. There we go. Yep. Okay, save that too, karma. And I'm going to save, because I don't want to have to redo this progress. I actually wouldn't mind redoing it as a new whole game and such like that, rediscovering different paths, but, well, I probably would take the same paths over again. I generally take the paths I do because they produce the results I want. I don't like taking the evil routes or the bastard routes, but anyway. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. Let's 2 unread messages. Out of town. I'm not in Hayoid right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk when I return. Please continue with our business ventures in the meantime. I think the next thing we'll do is the Ares thing for Rector. You have one unread message, data retrieval. I hope you're enjoying your newfound success in the shadows. I've got another job for you, one that should prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contacted by an employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation. He needs you to steal some research data and biological samples from his employer. The man's name is Tagath Wright. Until recently, he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He's cagey with the details, but I gathered that it was centered around phenotypic alteration, and thank you for switching back to the proper voice. If this is the proper voice, you have a bad memory for such things. And postnatal genetic enhancement. Unfortunately for Wright, he's got a conscience, stupid man. Luckily for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged. Wright's project was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children. Total disregard for biomedical ethics or safety, and when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He's decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose their wrongdoing to the world. The stag, you see, is that his wife and child live in Seoul, not quite the heart of Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, they'll be taken prisoner and used as leverage. The idiot should have thought of that before, but that's not our problem. The samples and data are currently on an Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the MV Naichi, sailing near Hong Kong, on their way to Seoul. The storms slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and samples, you're to call Wright. I've attached his number. He'll give you instructions on how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange transit with Captain Yomo. He's a local Yowa pirate and smuggler. But don't let that put you off. He's as good as they can get. And he'll have you on that ship without incident. Take the run. I've let Captain Yomo know you're ready. You can find him down at the end of the pier my parlor's on. He'll handle everything from there on out. Okay. Jobs directory. Claim this. You submit the job is finished and await the response. A few minutes later, a message pops onto the screen. Well done. Well done. You went above and beyond what I asked and liberated some truly precious artifacts. I've attached the payment you're owed, plus a little bonus. I trust that you'll keep quiet about what exactly was liberated from Louis' little museum. I'll come collect the books from Kindly Chang shortly. How much money was that? How much money did you get? Ooh, okay. Go back. Shadowland. Claim payment for sold. Oh, 350. That's not bad. This game severely truncates how much money you get, because if we were talking an actual Shadowrun tabletop game, that's nothing. And it's not worth the run we did. Oh my goodness. Typhoon stalled offshore. Update on Typhoon Usagi. Infrared images of the storm eye to wall transition are really quite stunning, by the way. Typhoon Usagi has stalled in the South China Sea and is now weakening after passing north of the Philippines. Strong wind and periodic very heavy rains will continue as Usagi's arms sweep across the region. For the moment, Usagi is resisting the wind, which is causing it to lose strength. Prevailing winds will probably ultimately drive Usagi ashore west of Macau as it struggles to remain over water. According to Dr. Lance Inroki of the Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency, even the most awakened storms have difficulty delaying their landfall for more than a week, once they are in the South China Sea. Usagi will still be a full-strength typhoon when it makes landfall, but its delay fortunately gives people in the storm path more time to prepare. Look, babe, I just made this cartoonified typhoon for you. It's got a little purse and spring sparkles and bubble tea and 8 arms with assorted weapons and necklace of skulls and everything. You're the best! The J-pop theme on the ammunition belts really takes it over the top, Amanita. You are a special person. Sang Mechanical Services, a rising star. Has anyone else been keeping track of the Executive Council elections? It's almost time for the latest round, and the competition is heating up. Up until this point, Tan Tien CEO Sao Kok Chu looked like the best pick to replace Josephine Sang of Sang Mechanical Services. Despite Wu Jing CEO Kent Xiaoling's rivalry with Chu, he had the support of both Yang Lin Fat of Shibata and Adrian Chung of Hildebrandt Kleinfort Bernau. Now, though, I'm not so sure. Josephine Sang seems pretty confident she'll remain on the council. From what I've heard, she's cut a deal with Ares Asia, Mono Bay, and Eastern Tiger to stay out of their way. In exchange, they let her own Southeast Asia's large-scale construction projects. A cozy relationship like that could turn the tides against Tan Tien. Your screen flickers as a clip begins playing. Josephine Sang stands at a podium addressing a crowd of reporters in front of a partially constructed skyscraper. With the finalization permits approved for the part-time workers' complex here in Dongguan, I promise you that the prosperity of this city can only increase. This marks an auspicious day. Thousands of new jobs in construction, tens of thousands more when the project is complete, and low-cost housing for every worker. And please ignore the festering hell-spawn gate that I created in the walled city of Kowloon. Some have said Sang Mechanical Services does not have the will to compete in a global market, that we are only a force to be reckoned with in Hong Kong, Africa, and South America. That seems pretty global to me. That's Asia, that's 3 continents. I say that our good fortune is your good fortune. Sang pounds the podium with closed fists, nodding for emphasis. Sang Mechanical Services is more than a local company. Our star is rising and shows no sign of slowing. I ask that the residents of Dongguan, who among you does not wish for a better life, a wealthier, happier life, one where your company is also your family, and can protect you from the uncertainty of these trying times. We will give you that life. We will give you that protection and sincerity. Certainty. Why did I say sincerity? It's not what it says. What a load of utter crap. It may be crap, but the people in Dongguan ate it up. The idea of signing with a large company that isn't Baihu, and believe me, they count Tan Tien and Wu Jing as foreign, was too much of a draw for them to pass up. I'm thinking that absent catastrophe, Josephine Sang will be on the executive council in the next few days. Why do they count Wu Jing as foreign? Tan Tien, sure, they're headquartered in Beijing, but Wu Jing's just as native to Hong Kong as Sang is. Wu Jing and the Canton Confederation have been at odds since 2015. Wu Jing's made a habit of exploiting the people of Guangdong and using loopholes to shield themselves from taxation. What's more, Wu Jing was the primary mover in the founding of the Free Enterprise Zone, permanently stopping the Confederation's designs on Hong Kong. Sang took a different tactic. Josephine Sang started out by promising the Canton Confederation a very lucrative taxation agreement in exchange for a low-cost, long-term lease for their facilities in Dongguan. She sweetened the deal by treating them like family rather than adversaries. She got the meeting out of her hand. Okay, punk, metal, hardcore. This is interesting. Got a collection of over 10,000 albums of punk, hardcore, hardcore light, thrash, thrash metal, heavy metal, light metal, death metal, metal nouveau, Sinopunk, synth punk, cyber thrash, synthcore, Hong Kong ska, and triple umlaut bands like Umlaut. Triple umlaut band. Rock collector. If there's an album you've been searching for, I might just have it. In return, I'm in search of any weird, obscure bands to add to my library. Let me know. Got any cybercore synth metal? As for what might interest you, I own the complete oeuvre of the German punk band Messerkampf. Heard of them? Messerkampf? They're so mainstream. They're really big in the JIS. Really? Do they tour? Nah, man, I don't think so. Those Berlin anarchist bands never survived very long. Besides, I think they broke up a really long time ago. They're probably aging wage slaves now, and no idea that they're wildly popular on the other side of the planet. Looking for a decker. Looking for experienced decker for a discreet milk run. Picking a very special access card off a wage slave. Potential for longer-term employment arrangement. For a team that's been together for years, this sounds familiar. Running your basic heist and the occasional transport gig. We've got a flexible fixer and a long list of happy clients. You must not take experimental stims during runs. Amazon, RIP. You must not tamper with chemicals in secret labs. Runs with scissors. You must have a good sense of humor. Knock knock. You said a good sense of humor. It's a joke, see? At this point, we're actually interested in hiring an experienced professional with a mature adult's impulse control. We've had some bad luck with our deckers lately. The last one had 2 left feet and couldn't seem to stop stumbling into containers full of volatile substances. Horror runs with scissors 2056, although by looking at her name, I guess we should have known. So basically, you guys are desperate for a decker. Has anyone else contacted you? We can wait a little longer? Meet me. You guys are starting to get a bad rep, you know, jinxed. As some of you know, I have a keen interest in urban planning, geophysics, and anything involving our eventual and inevitable destruction. Apprehended is a recent summary on rising sea level in Hong Kong. Expresses the issue well in lay terms. Freedom Cowboy, you complain my post titles are a bit sterile. How's this one? Article mirrored the sinking of Hong Kong. From HK Newswire, Hong Kong's watery future, images and external links redacted. The Joint Corporate Development Bureau has released a report on sea level rise in Hong Kong over the next 50 years. Since the year 2000, Hong Kong experienced 9 to 13 meters of water level rise, varying by location. Geologists cite a combination of Antarctic ice melting, the natural sinking of Hong Kong's artificial fill shorefronts, and forced subsidence caused by massive urban construction. Future of the city. Geologists predict a continued rise in water levels over the next 50 years, with slowing land subsidence being offset by the accelerating collapse of the Antarctic ice sheet. Quoting from government geologist Al Mingjia, with up to 15 meters of subsidence expected over the next half-century, a large fraction of current Hong Kong will become submarine. Due to our population and small land base, abandonment of flooded land is no longer practical. Rigorous amphibious retrofitting of the city will need to be continued. By 2100, the current coastal buildings will mostly rise from a canal environment. Engineering studies indicate that major improvements will be necessary on the coastal seawalls and on Victoria Harbor's Zirang Wall, officially the anti-typhoon automated harbor defense jetty. Coastal protections will need to be raised by half a meter per year to counteract the total effect of rising sea level and the worsening severity of super typhoons. The Development Bureau estimates this may cost 250 billion new yen over the next 5 decades. Climatic models suggest that by 2100, storm surges impinging on Hong Kong shores may exceed 3 meters in height, and wind-driven waves during severe storms may reach 15 meters. So we're going to be running jobs from gondolas in 50 years? That's the message? Give me some new yen. When one does some simple financial modeling, extrapolates the worsening severity and frequency of super typhoons along with the geological outlook, the actual message is that it may be necessary to abandon Hong Kong. WP, I take it back. Keep your sterile titles. What's so endearing about you is that you talk about the grimmest things like an accountant. Double entry accrual accounting is an amazing system. If more operators took an interest in it, they would have a much better long-term financial security, as well as be better able to interpret and manipulate materials encountered during their work. It's pretty ironic that your handle shortens to WP, what normally associated with white phosphorus. Actually, Hatch, it's not. It's really not. White phosphorus is exceptionally useful, not merely because of its hypogolic ignition and the fact that once burning it is chemically immune to water quenching, but also because of its high adhesion and biotoxicity. I don't take pleasure in these qualities, but I do appreciate them. You make frequent use of that, don't you? We're going to do these last two, and then we're going to end. Thread, Merc Operative. Accessing BBS archives. Please wait. See attached image. Dated to the late 2050. The human in the middle is Simon Zauer, a mercenary fixer of Macau. He's known quantity. I'm interested in the elf on his left. Anybody recognize this guy? Architects. Your person of interest is Roald Hone, aka Whipsaw. He's not a merc. He's a corpo turned runner turned corpo. He's now a counter-disruption advisor currently under contract to Transys Neuronet. Zauer is just a broker, but I'm wondering what Whipsaw is doing with the third guy, the troll, Icebreaker. Icebreaker? He doesn't look like a Decker. Icebreaker as in big as an icebreaker, the ship? He supposedly ran a paramilitary crew for a while. I've heard of this guy. He vanished 6 years ago. His whole team went completely dark. They were called the Fleet. Word is they hit a big score and retired. Yo, guys, I've got metadata that Icebreaker's crew got wiped out. Only 2 survivors and you won't find them. Tin Helmet, I'm tired of your weird-ass rumors. Tin Helmet may be correct. One Fleet associate, Ostrada, posted on BBS 6 times over the next year. Another, Balisong, was collected by a bounty hunter. See the attached image. Thanks, White Prism. That's fucking awesome. We all really needed a picture of a woman shot in the face and slumped over a toilet. This isn't a gore board. I swear you've got Asperger's or something. Kowloon car bomb? Here we go. Car bombing in Kowloon City today near Salisbury and Nathan. Triad hit? Extremists? Triads don't usually use car bombs, and terrorists want a substantial blast to kick fragments. This one had a small explosive, but burned like an oil well. Voila! HKPD report appended. 1 fatality, the driver. Guy named Ripshot. Burned almost beyond identification. Ripshot? He's a rigger. He rolls for the fleet. He's got a long enemies list. No crazy taste. I don't know why people keep associating the fleet and this Ripshot guy. The fleet's rigger is a Shenzhen guy called Chainlink. Yeah, Ripshot has a lot of enemies, but he's a Cao Fo Croc shaman over in Kwantong, and he's not dead. Several people have operated in Hong Kong under the title Ripshot in the last year. None of them are linked to the fleet, but that crew is known to spread misinformation about their composition, so who knows. I see the body identification was made from limb DNA, a skull fragment, and footage from a nearby CCTV camera. By Prism, Amanita, you're going to go conspiracy theory on us again? Okay. So, I am going to take some of this money and go buy some stuff. Oh, we got improvements to do. I'm going to do one more video. See you in a little bit.